I'm meteorologist.
KTUI time is 10:05, and the current temperature is 52 degrees. I'm Sam Scott for KTUI.
Check.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, good morning and welcome back. Here we are live at the White Mule Winery on the high plains of Gasconade County. 55 wonderful degrees here at airtime in this second week of December. Yes, it is the second week of December, and the weather has been absolutely spectacular. No rain in the last week, but things are progressing along. 54 degrees here at airtime. I was just told that it was 54 degrees here at airtime. Blue sky, all good. Gracie, good to have you this morning.
Good to be here.
We kind of just got settled in here.
We did, yeah.
Didn't we? We're kind of waiting on our guest, Theresa Schulte, who is a middle school principal, and she is on the way. But we trust that you had a good, pleasant week. We haven't had any rain since we last seen you. Maybe just a spittering in the dust one morning, but maybe tomorrow we'll have some rain. And most of the time we farmers and cattlemen, especially this time of the year, don't really wish any rain upon us, but the creeks are not running at all in our parts, and the ponds look like they would be in the middle of August or end of August in a dry year. So some small amount of rain would be good. We're still got cattle out on grass, thank goodness for the rain we had the first week of September, because it has sustained the grass and it's growing well. Hey, we trust you had a good Thanksgiving, of course, and only how many days left till Christmas, Grace?
16, is that right?
16, I think, is today the 9th?
Yep.
So if today's the 9th, then we have 16 more shopping days until Christmas, and golly, it gets here quickly, and it goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
A few weeks ago, I think they were talking about maybe having a white Christmas, but I don't see that happening.
You don't see it? Well, Dave Murray, on one of his podcasts or what he does, I know he's not with, the TV station anymore, but he was kind of Grandma or Mom's idol. She listened to him, and what he said was the gospel, and she followed the weather from him. But Dave said that he was anticipating and thinking it was going to be a white Christmas. But things can change a lot here in the next 16 days, 2 weeks, and some change. So we'll see what does occur. We got a great weekend and into next week planned. It's been a few years since me and the boys have took off and went pheasant hunting, and they were busy raising kids and babysitting, but this is the year that we've retooling our hunt. I have been going, but kind of missed the boys not being along, because they're pretty good walkers, quite a bit better than I am, Grace. And we'll talk about shooting too sometime, but maybe not so much today. But I'm looking forward to it. We go to Winter, South Dakota, and things are not as many birds out, the reports say, and the people that we hunt with have been there in October and November. The birds, pheasants, like anything else, are kind of circulatory, and they kind of go with the environment and weather and different changes that occur there. It had been absolutely fantastic hunting for 10 years, and where we go, it's privately owned ground, and the the people that own it are friends of ours, got several thousand acres that we hunt on different farms, and they do crop it, but they do manage it for birds, making sure that there's plenty nesting area there, and do the crops for that. They put in shelter belts, places where they can get in and out of the weather when they come, and they do manage it extremely well and extremely good. But that said, they have been exceedingly dry certain times of the critical times of the year there, and they have lost just some natural habitat. So they're kind of in a low area now. I think they're predicting some snow for tomorrow, 1 to 4 inches, I think, is what predicted at winter. They do not have any snow on the ground. It's been unseasonably warm there also, but that will probably, hopefully, help congregate the birds into some cover, possibly, and those are a good thing, because they'll be sitting in cover and they'll be sitting tighter. The crops that they had is all out, which wasn't the case in earlier when they were hunting in October and November. So we're looking forward to it anyway, and
Mom and I are looking forward to it too.
And that'll be Ben's first hunt to go with us, and so
excited.
We're looking forward to that, and Woody and Gus, and then we'll be meeting another dozen hunters up there from all over the country that we get to hunt with. So that is all good. Have you got all your Christmas shopping done for us? I seen, in fact, in the paper that you had seen Santa and Mrs. Claus at Rosebud.
At the barn.
At the barn this last weekend. A big crowd there.
It was. I don't remember what they said, 270 some kids.
Mrs. Claus said 287 kids, but I'm sure her count was accurate. Because Mrs. Claus, she has a lot on her mind right now. Keeping track of Santa and the elves, and making sure she gets written down what they all want. So it's all good.
It is.
But Rosebud has a great event there, and where they have it is right there on 28, between the restaurant and the post office, a barn that was built basically for those special occasions when Rosebud is celebrating some festivities, and the tree is up, and they had great participation. I think all the kids received baskets or candy or whatever.
There was drawings for prizes, and they had music playing, and they had a movie playing.
A movie? What was a movie? Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Imagine. Okay.
Yep.
Like The Grinch or something like that?
No, it was I don't remember what it was, but
Not one of...
it was more of a feel-good movie. But yeah, they had...
Hallmark or something,
They had soda and snacks available, and it was really good.
Well, that's good. I mean, and Santa went well, and Sawyer, did she cry or?
She did not cry. She started to at first, but then she was fine. I don't think she realized who was holding her. She was looking forward the whole time, which is good.
Yeah.
She did good.
So did Ashley take the kids, or do you know?
I don't think that they went. They had that dinner at...
Oh, that's right. That's right. They had a special dinner there, so it's Christmas party, and we are very much booked here on parties, correct? Mm-hmm. And probably always got room for one or two more, but
January we
go into January. A lot of companies and people decide just too much other things going on, this time of the year, so they, we just schedule into January with it, or sometimes if the group is correct earlier in the week, sometimes work, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are pretty well filled up at this juncture.
Yes, they are. Yep.
So, I think
we can always do Sundays, Sunday afternoons too.
Sunday afternoon
Or
is
evening.
Our evening. So we're there to accommodate. We're there to help them where we can. So our guest has arrived here. So we'll give her a chance to settle in here a little bit and talk with Theresa Schulte, who frontline worker. Theresa is middle school principal at Owensville and has been there a few years. And we think about frontline workers, of course, as medical and fire, and I really don't know of anyone that is any more frontline on what's going on and dealing with things, because think about what a principal does. She is, the liaison between, the school board, that sets policy, and the administration that, the word comes from, to the teachers. She has to directly manage and has authority over the teachers to a big degree, the students, and the parents. So I don't know that it gets any more frontline than that, Theresa. I mean, that is, especially in the times that we are now, there's always something going on political with the school systems. If it's not what they wear and the mask they wear, it's what they're teaching and what books are being read. I don't know to what degree it filters out in our school, but it is there. There is no question about it. Well, we don't maybe have as many activists, parents, but they are active, and they probably voice their opinion to you, don't they?
They sure do. They love their kids, so they're going to let us know, and but we usually work together and try to, hear both sides and kind of get all the information, and then usually we come out with everything's fine. So I do apologize for being late. I was taking care of an issue, and so that's just part of what we do. And it is a fine balance. Like, I had to find some coverage for classrooms today because we're short on subs, and so that was an issue that I was working on since last night, and so we just have to sometimes pull people to do different things, and so it's been an interesting morning.
Well, and I do appreciate you coming, and I know, and your priority is there, and it absolutely should be. But you have a lot of balls in the air, there's no question, all the time, and probably right now, because it's not necessarily COVID, but there's a lot of other bugs kind of going around. I mean, I've heard that, some of the kids are having flu bugs and, these kind of things, and middle school, you deal with it all.
Flu bugs, emotions, hormones, yep, we sure do.
Do it all.
Yeah, we've had some fevers lately too, and it's not COVID related, I don't believe. So, there are some other sicknesses besides COVID. So.
Yes. Well, I really was thinking about, since I asked you to come, what I wanted to talk with you about. Well, I haven't been thinking about it all that long, obviously, but, a few minutes. I mean, there is an awful lot of talk on, what we teach the kids, today, and I think it's a valid question, absolutely, whatever, supporting the parents, whatever they're thinking. But I wonder if it is and maybe I'm wrong in regard to this, maybe you're way ahead of the curve of what my knowledge and thinking is, but isn't it a kind of time that we focus in on the kids, and instead of teaching them textbook criteria in regard to what historically has been things that they needed to do, not again knowing that math and reading skills are absolutely essential at every level, but isn't it kind of time that we focus our curriculum and focus our education on at your age especially? I mean, I think in my mind's eye, that's kind of where it starts, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, when kids are starting to look ahead. They got the principles down there. They've learned how to read and, write to some degree. But isn't it time we start really focusing our agenda on their skill set and what they need, other than trying to cram into this, a whole lot of other historical things that are important. Not saying that history and all of this is not important, because I think that it is. But the fact of the matter is, I think society is recognizing that, higher education, in regard to a 4-year degree is maybe not totally necessary for all, and it probably not the skill set that society is in most demand of, because it's hands-on labor, it's hands-on skills, and trade areas where the jobs are, and you follow the money. These kids, getting out of a trade school in 2 or 3 years, if you look, whether they're electricians or linemen or carpentry or computer tech, kind of stuff, medical, kind of things that aren't necessarily high degree, but technician kind of stuff. If you look and follow what the pay is on some of these, it is much higher than
A teacher's
the BS
salary.
degree, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. Am I wrong?
No, teacher salary, I think ours is around $34,000, and a lot of those kids are making 2 times that in 2-year degree, and so it's hard work. But I think that, all schools probably do this, but I can only speak really to our school, that, we do try to instill a lot of good work ethic, no matter, yes, you're doing your social studies or your math or whatever, but it's the work ethic. You need to make sure you're doing your job and you're doing it right, so that when you get out of here, go to high school, or you go to work in a factory, or you go to work at McDonald's or Walmart, or go to college, that you can do the job and stick with it and have the strong will to finish it and do it right and do it with kindness. So we've really been focused on a lot of respect and kindness and just trying to teach good work ethic, because a lot of kids don't have that support at home, and so sometimes they come and they say they don't, my mom wasn't home to help me. Okay, well, that's okay. You still have to be accountable for you. Your mom doesn't do the work for you. So just really trying to instill those good values. So then if they don't have a 4-year degree, that's fine. They could still go, get a job and do it well, and be proud of the work they're doing. And then their boss or whoever can say, yeah, man, they're a hard worker. I'd hire them to do anything, because they're going to set their mind to it and do it. So, we do all the academic piece, but socially and just that work ethic and trying to get them prepared for the future, that's big for us.
And I absolutely, concur that those are the building blocks of anything that they decide to do, to show up, to be able to be engaged in that particular process, to hone their skills in any environment, that comes their way. And I totally concur that those are great building blocks, that are there. How much in the testing apparatus, okay, how much of that testing apparatus, their aptitude, do you notice, or can you see what their strengths and their weaknesses are, to a big degree? I mean, I know that you score, I scored probably at the 100th percentile on most everything. but maybe not sometimes. But I mean, you can absolutely see, math and science and those questions that they should have. But are the tests deeper than that? Can they look at, and find out what their desires are and what their real core strengths are?
Yes, there's a thing called Missouri Connections, and our school counselor, we have a new counselor this year, Miss Maples, and Miss Evans used to do this, and she still has worked with kids and still will do some of this at high school, but they take like an inventory test and aptitude test, and like it kind of shows them like what career they might possibly do well in. So like if it's science, like they score high in science, you might do something well in medical or veterinarian school, or if it's English, maybe it's a journalist, or maybe it's a writer, or so they do that and they start preparing for that. In 7th grade they start taking this inventory test. Then in 8th grade they start looking at, okay, what maybe do I want to, from this results, what can I do or what should I do? And just a few weeks ago, our 8th graders went to State Tech for a college visit, and they went to see all the different programs, so like they can see what's available through A+, another good tool that we have here. So like, oh, this is really cool, I am interested in aerospace, or they have a radiation program over there, or nursing. So, that's another thing that we try to promote. And then the council works with them to get their 4-year plans for high school. Like, okay, this is what you might be interested in. Let's look at that. And these are the courses you want to take. So I feel like, yes, we do have some things in place. Could we be better? Yes, absolutely. But it's a balance. And, when it comes to the other tests, I know we have to do those, MAP tests and all that kind of stuff, but what I've been saying to my teachers, especially the past few years, is teach your curriculum and the tests will take care of themselves. Like I don't want kids stressing out about it because we got to take a test. There's more to life than just taking a test. So I feel like, and I think our scores have improved since we have really done that. And just not that long ago, we got recognized as the most top 10 schools in math growth for middle school. We were like
awesome.
number 5. So I'm, super proud of. And it's hard work. It's hard work to be a teacher. It is. It's like you're in the trenches and you're digging the ditches and you don't stop. And so hopefully the kids, and I know the kids see like that good work ethic too, because TV Studio comes over and interviews some of our teachers. I don't know if you've seen any of those on YouTube recently, but they come back and talk to our teachers, and they notice and they know, and they make a difference, and they make a big impression on our kids. So.
And I absolutely, totally agree with you. Here's an example of good teachers. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause didn't come from me. You know what I'm saying? And no, and I'm not trying to be at all. I am terribly complimentary, and I appreciate everything that you and what you do.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to spread out a little bit and thinking that, it's not all mind. Hands-on skills is so phenomenally important, in today, and I'm not talking, the text or whatever, but I can tell around here, you know what I'm saying? Hands-on skills and coordination and those things. I'm not so sure that there shouldn't be a Lego competition, you know what I'm saying, and testing on what you can make out of these things, and that creativeness, okay, that is almost impossible to teach, but it is tremendous, that drives forth innovation, it's, there's some skills out there. When I look at some of the steel work, you know what I'm saying, that is done, and some of the skills in welding that I see, coming, out, and, just being able to sit and figure and think things out, and use your hands to build that, pretty incredible. Woodworking and those things, and I'm just saying, do we get deep enough into that? Are we, do you think we could improve in those areas?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we actually just had our 2 robotics team that went Saturday to a competition in Camdenton, and so they had some setbacks, so we had to get a new sponsor, and they only had like 7 practices to get their robots built, their programs done, their coding, all that stuff done, and they worked their tails off, and they came and they got 5th and 6th place overall, but they got the best robot design that they built, and so like the kids were super proud. These were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, so there were 20 kids, and then so we did that. And we do have shop at our school, so like our kids are building.
Yes, you do.
You know, Mr. Jett does a phenomenal job. Like they get to pick their projects. I've seen very creative projects made, like from shoe holders to Adirondack chairs to gun cabinets to dressers to tables to all kinds of really cool things. So you go in there to like even little puzzle games. So I mean, we have that, and robotics this is only our 3rd year to have that. So we are like trying to, you know, get those kids that don't play sports, and those kids may play sports, but this also is a lot of kids that don't typically play sports.
Sure.
So it gives them that creativity, and they're really good at that, and that's where they thrive. And so one of the leaders of this team was a 6th grade boy. You know, he did it in elementary school for 1 year, and I mean, he was just on fire, so he was leading all of those kids. So we are doing that. So we are, you know, expanding our toolbox for kids and resources. So I feel like, you know, I should have mentioned that, but I forgot really.
No. I'm not here to.
Yeah, no,
I just, when I went to school, okay, I took some shop, you know what I'm saying, and I played some sports, you know. I mean, I was advised, in all honesty, that you could probably only do one, you know what I'm saying? You could either, do this. I'm not for my parents necessarily, but the thing of it is, there was a stigma. When you went to shop, you know what I'm saying, you put on your coveralls and you welded and did whatever and walked around the halls, people, but that's not how it is anymore, is it? I hope not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to be thrilled with those skill sets that are there and do those jobs, because they're the highest. I am too. They're high paid, and to be able to do those kind of things and have that creativity to get it done is, it's awesome.
And then just to talk about the robotics team a little bit, I said that some things kind of happened, and we only had like 7 practices. So the new person, I said, I want to make sure that they want to do this, because like I don't want to, so she talked to them, and they're like, yeah, we want to do that. We don't want to quit. So like I was super proud that they just, no matter what,
I am too.
We're not, if we go and we fail, but we're not going to quit. So that made me really happy, that they went, and not only did they go and they did well, they didn't get last, and they got the best robot design out of all the schools that were there. So
that's absolutely, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, it's great, and they are the new innovators. You know what I'm saying? They are the new creativity that is there, that always has been there. The people that used to pound horseshoes, did it all. They were the mechanics. They were the innovators. Those blacksmiths. Most of the creations, in agriculture, most of the creations in equipment came from molding the steel, figuring out things that had to be figured out, and that's what you're doing with robots. And that's that. What was the robot supposed to do?
Well, they have this table, and so then they program it, and then there's like this road, and it's supposed to like travel along this road. And so it traveled, it's about a little longer than this, but it traveled, it was almost 3/4 away, and then it just stopped. So that's what they do. They program it to follow and not run into things, and to do what it needs to do. So it's at the the beginning, because when they get to high school, they have a whole lot bigger things like shooting baskets.
How big is this robot?
It's probably like this big.
Pretty small,
and
actually.
It was all apart. And
so they put the wheels on it, they put the motors on it, they do...
They programmed it with their computers, and then they did all that. Mm-hmm. And they also, part of that plan is they have to come up with a plan of how can they help their environment too. So it's not just like build this robot. There's 3 components to this robotics team. So how can you, what is something you can do to help your environment? And then I forgot what the 3rd part is, but it's not just build this robot and program it, but you also have to come up with like a service project.
And these are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Yeah. Did we have peer meters when you were in middle school?
Yes.
Okay, so we still have that program where
What was that?
peer mediators. So it's 8th graders, and they learn how to teach kids how to problem solve, and they go and present to classrooms. Did you guys do that? Mm-hmm. And so like they teach them team building skills and just kind of build a relationship with kids. And then we have student council. You had, and what our student council did this year was they tore up our flower bed because it needed a lot of work. One day we took them out there, and they started digging and pulling weeds, and so they made our flower bed look amazing. So I mean, we are having our kids do a lot of things, and not just, you know, we realize it's important to be in class, but also there's importance about learning how to do other things, and then also maintaining your work too. So those are just a few things that I could think of, you know.
No, I applaud you, and you know, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to bring that out, you know, because I just see the whole need, you know what I'm saying, for you know, trade skill sets to be well. I was through Lynn yesterday morning.
That's huge.
You know, I mean, I go through there a lot, but this was like 7 o'clock, 7:30 yesterday morning. And, you know, the parking lot right out there in front, it was totally full, and that never is, you know, where the community center is there. And look, the parking lot everywhere was absolutely full everywhere. I mean, it is on fire. It is.
It is.
It is nuts, and they build and build and build, and you know, and it's all great because you know we've got a lot of things going on, and that is exactly the skill set we need, you know, to you know, there's all different kinds of those trades, but we're getting the focus on that, and I applaud education for recognizing that and doing it. So this is the time of year when we're kind of back into it. You've had a week off at Thanksgiving because had a couple days scheduled, and then I know that you had a thorough school cleaning, you know, for a couple of days there, and now we're going into, you know, Thanksgiving, which, yeah, I want to go back.
Christmas. Hey, Christmas.
Okay.
16 days.
16 days until Christmas, and then the semester will be over.
Yes.
Before or after?
It ends the last day of break, the 22nd. The first semester ends.
So we're there, you know.
There.
We're there. The testing is going on probably ASAP.
End of next week.
You know, this. So at the big milestone as the fall went, in conjunction with COVID and everything else, have we improved in regard to you know, the classroom, not necessarily testing response, but the social and aspects of it, and is there still fear about COVID out there to the degree it was, and what do you think?
I would say, obviously, there's still some fear. You know, we have some students who still wear their mask, but I think for the most part, our community, I think a lot of our parents, when we didn't require masking if they were relieved. You know, we still try to make sure we clean between classes, like the desk, and we try to maintain 3 feet because that was our rule, 3 feet. You know, try to keep your distance, and we encourage strong hand cleaning. You know, wash your hands and good hygiene, things like that. But I think for the most part, you know, I don't really think there's a lot of fear. If it is, they don't vocalize it. They don't, and when they're hanging out with each other, the kids, like, they don't look like they're fearful. And I have to remind them often, you know, remember to stay 3 feet, try to stay 3 feet. Just because
Well, the
they
hard
want to
one's
keep...
kicking in there too.
Well, yeah,
You
but
know,
they're buddies, you know, and they're playing on their device while they're waiting for lunch line, or, you know, they're talking and they're playing cards, and then I say, hey, like, they're like, oh, you know, so I kind of feel like the bad person, but I just want to keep them safe, and, you know, and even if not from COVID, just all kinds of other sicknesses, you know, like strep throat, just again, and sometimes they forget and they want to share a water bottle. I'm like, don't do that, you know. So I think the fear of COVID is still out there, but I don't think it's like
to the
it was.
degree it was.
Right.
And are any students getting vaccinated, or do you know? I mean, that's I don't even know. if young people, the vaccines are available here.
Yes, they are available, and yes, some kids have gotten vaccinated. They're not required to tell us, but like through all the contact tracing and stuff that we've been doing up until now, like if a kid was vaccinated, they didn't have to quarantine. So like I know some kids are getting vaccinated, and it's available up to kids from 5 now to
Really?
18. Yeah, so 5 to like 11 just came available like in the last 6 weeks or so. So it's available, and there are families choosing to do it, and so again, I just say whatever your personal preference is, because people ask me, and I'm like, it has to be your own personal choice. I can't tell you what to do.
I fear, Theresa, that some of these elements aren't going to be over this next year. Some of these elements, and whatever the COVID virus is, I think we will be dealing with virus issues. For a while down the road, and I'm glad in our area that we've negotiated as well as we have.
I think we've done well, and just a day or two ago, the Attorney General sent out the letter that we can't quarantine anymore, nor can the health department. So, interested to see how that's gonna.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just got that, so we cannot ask people to quarantine anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how things. If we have a rise, or you're not gonna. It's gonna be like before when you had the flu. Like it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't anyone else's business. Like when it was COVID, like the whole world kind of had to know. But now it's just kind of like I feel like it's gonna be. But you never know if someone has symptoms and they're. I don't know. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, what is occurring right now is going to have. I'm not sure what those consequences are going to be, but they'll be, and I'm not saying they're negative at all. I'm not saying that they'll move the COVID, virus up or down the ladder, but there will be repercussions. What I'm saying? If we're not going to do that, then maybe I don't want my kid to play sports. What I'm saying? If we don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. So. And there might be more kids want to play sports if they don't have to be quarantined. I'm just saying that you can't move the political meter, one way or the other, and not have a society,
Right.
Making a move also. So we'll see how that all.
Every choice has a consequence of some sort, so we'll see what happens. I don't know.
There's absolutely no question about it
We
at
might
all.
see more flu and other sicknesses too. I don't, I'm not really sure what will happen, but
Yeah, it's
I'm not really scared, me personally. But that's, me personally, and
no, and me neither. You know what I'm saying? Well, whatever it is, but I am sympathetic.
Yeah.
For individuals that are fearful of it and have more reason to be fearful than I may do. So I understand that.
And I totally understand that too, and I respect those folks. And I have Ellis, our granddaughter. We have to be
I
careful
know.
with
We
her.
talked about it this morning. Doing okay?
Yeah, she's home and she's doing great, and she's scooching around. We call it. She does the bum shuffle, and she gets all over the place. And OT, and everyone says she's making great progress. And she's just. It was a rough road, but I feel like we're definitely on the.
So she had a bone marrow transplant?
2 times. Yeah, second time.
Is it called a transplant? Yeah.
Yep, transplant. Yeah.
But she's accepting it at this
She's
juncture?
100% accepted. They did another test.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it was a relief. But any side effect that she could have had through this process, she had it, and it was hard. But she's doing good now. So
you do have a real working understanding of immune system. On a practical level, and just how strong that body really is to some degree. What I'm saying? Being able to accept a foreign, element into you, and your body having the ability to accept that.
it's quite amazing, actually, what medical folks can do, and all the people it takes to make that tribe work. And it's just amazing, because like her blood type is now changed. It's the donor's type. That's changed, which that's a good sign. And so like because
Wow.
like they take her weekly, they monitor her blood cultures and they check her blood level, and like for a while she was stable, but then all of a sudden her blood level was dipping, so they had to give her transfusion, and they said that's because the bloods are fighting, like the donors blood was taking over, and hers was kind of fighting back, but it's taken over.
The
so
donors won.
the donors won, and that's what you want. So yeah.
Yeah, that's, I miss that class. And it is absolutely unbelievably amazing. So, so we go back in. I mean, and by the way, let's talk just a little bit about, the team sports, because, the Dutchman has had a good football season, and, that's always worth, noticing that, and not only football, but, I'm not sure how volleyball, you know what I'm saying?
Volleyball did really well too.
That they do very well.
And right now the girls basketball is doing well, and our boys basketball team is actually winning. And so I think, we're, and our middle school boys, they've had 3 games, we had one tonight, and so they've won. 7th grade, I think, has won all theirs. 8th grade has won a couple. So, we're doing well.
That's fantastic, and you as principal get a first front row seat on all of that,
I
don't
do.
you?
I put a game on Tuesday night, and then we have one tonight, and then.
How many hours do you think you blog a week?
Oh gosh, I would say
Is that a fair question?
it's a fair question, but I would say I do 12 to 13 hours a day. So do that times 5, and then sometimes you have weekend stuff. Like I don't know. There's wrestling tonight too. So sometimes you can't make everything, but there's lots of events. So I would say, I don't know, 75-ish hours a week maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that, plus all the other community and family things, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that you do.
You gotta love this job or you can't do it. I'm just gonna say it like that. If you don't love it, you can't do it. It's too hard. Because if it's really a job, then you don't want to do it anyway.
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I absolutely do, and it's not all jobs are like that, but that's one of them. And running a winery is kind of like that. Right, Gracie?
Yeah, you guys put a lot of hours in too. I know that.
Well, no, I don't do anything like that, but I appreciate what you all do. There's no question about it all. So we're heading into next year, and the climate keeps changing in regard to what the rules are and what they will be. Are you expecting things after the first year to have any dramatic policy changes in regard to, some of these letters, that have went out here in regard to no mandates, in regard to no quarantine, or you just kind of got to take it as it goes and see what's going to come out of that?
I think you just got to take it as it goes. I'm not really sure because, for example, we get a call in the morning. This is we're sticking with our policies. The health department, we're enforcing this, and then in the afternoon, they call and something changes. So just kind of really enforce, you got to be flexible, and we're just going to have to follow our mandates and, just be knowledgeable about what we can and cannot do. And we have a great school board who really takes all that seriously, and they really trust that we're doing our job, and they want to make sure we're doing our job. They put weekly hours and they meet to talk about COVID, and what do we need to do, what don't we need to do, and to stay up on the things. So, kudos to them because they get paid
Absolutely.
a whole lot, their salary,
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
kidding, they get paid nothing. And they put a lot of time and effort in. So I am so thankful that we have people that are willing to commit to that.
And I have seen them here, you know what I'm saying? Come here and spend half a days and hours in the evening. And they're not, they're focused. You know what I'm saying? They're totally focused. The books are this high. They're asking questions. They're interactive, and it is, a job that they're passionate about doing, and they do an incredible job trying to really pacify all that they possibly can.
Yeah, and they always want to do what's best for kids. I know that everyone says that, but they really do. If this is not good for kids, we don't want to do it, and if we can't. So they always keep the kids first. So I I'm just really thankful that we have the folks that we have.
You got Christmas coming up here. I'm sure you have some party celebrations at school, right? Or you have some, stress reliever events maybe for the kids, the
We
teachers?
do. Like we have a Christmas breakfast for our staff on the last day of school, and so they come and just kind of a time to, and some do Secret Santa, so they kind of reveal their Secret Santa. And then we have like a special luncheon for our kids. It's just like a bunch of appetizers, and they love it, like mini corn dogs, Bosco sticks, mozzarella sticks, nachos, and the teachers serve it to them, and they just think that's like the best ever because they get a lot of food that they really love, and it's really good, and it's just fun. And we have Christmas music, and like Mr. Fisher will bring his band, and they sing Christmas songs up on the stage, and we try to make it fun for kids. And then the last day of school, like the teachers will do fun activities with their kids, and the teachers really care and want kids to have fun too. They don't want it to be about just books and nothing else. They really want kids to have a good experience. So.
Sure they do, and they're in that middle school. They're going to remember every bit of that at this juncture, and those are going to be focal points for them to think of. I mean, you think back when you was in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, probably some of the things that I remember the very most, I pretty well forgot about them now. But you think about things that happened to you in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Big stuff.
Yeah.
I played basketball, didn't do so good at that. What I'm saying, had my first crush,
Orange Crush.
At that level was exposed to, with things like hunting, around that time. So it's life-changing.
We have a wall of fame up in our cafeteria, so if the kids go deer hunting, they can put their picture up. And I think they may have done it when you guys were there, but we try to make it like real life too, and not just about.
Well, it is.
Yeah. So in our halls, they're all decorated, and we did for Operation Christmas, we did a coin war. So we had homerooms against homerooms, and so we raised almost $3,000. Our kids were bringing in coins for Operation Christmas instead of collecting canned goods. So then they could just go take the money and buy what they needed, what they didn't get. So we just gave them a check yesterday, but it was fun, and the winning class gets to go bowling at the bowling alley and have pizza. So we try to do things like that.
You do that.
So I was really proud of our kids and our teachers. And one teacher in particular, she did not want to lose, and so she brought a lot of the competition in, and she does not like to lose. And so Miss McClure, her class did win by pretty much, but there were 4 classes that were fighting it. They wanted to win, but. So it was fun to see that, and it was student council
competition. It is. It brings everything alive, and it indoctrinates them into competition to passion.
Right.
And it's critical. You wouldn't think there would be one lonely fly running around here cold.
Where's this fly coming from?
Okay, we're going to take a break here talking with Theresa Schulte, our Owensville Middle School principal, and Gracie's going to get us up to speed on what is going on in our neck of the woods this week.
St. Peter's United Church of Christ is having a huge homemade Christmas cookie sale. There will be over 50 varieties of cookies and candies. That'll be Saturday, December 11th from 9 until 1 p.m. or unless sold out. And that's at 2nd and Peter Streets in Owensville. Might need to go to that.
You don't have to bake cookies.
No.
Homemade Christmas cookie sale. That's awesome.
There's a musical drama at the First Baptist Church in Owensville that will take you back to 1883. It's presented by the FBC Owensville Choir and Cast. It'll be Saturday, December 11th at 6 o'clock and Sunday, December 12th at 3 o'clock. And that's at the First Baptist Church in Owensville.
They're going to have carriage rides too.
That sounds, they're going to have carriage rides? That sounds like an interesting thing right there,
Yeah.
I like all this old, 1800 stuff, and,
It's really decorated because that's where we go to church, and so it's amazing how they get all these decorations. So.
This Friday night at the White Mule, we will be serving steak, shrimp, salmon, and beef kebabs from 5 until 8:30. Saturday, we do pizza, wings, and hamburgers from noon until 5, and then steaks after 5. Sundays, all you can eat pan-fried chicken and roast beef from 11 until 3:30.
Okay, plus,
And we are taking reservations for New Year's Eve.
what do we have in New Year's?
Prime rib, salmon, and shrimp.
Can I have them all?
Sure. And reservations are required for New Year's Eve. And Looking Back band will be playing.
Put me down, would you?
I will.
Okay, well, now you're up to speed, what's going on in our neck of the woods, and you got to tell me what time it is, or my watch is on the blink today.
It's time.
It's time? That's it?
Yep.
Theresa Schulte, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Good to have you, and keep up the good work, and Merry Christmas to you and all the teachers and staff and your family. We'll keep your granddaughter in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
You know, but they seem to be working, so we'll continue to do what works.
That's what works. When nothing else works, that's the only thing you can do, right?
God bless you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Next week we'll be back, right?
We're back.
But we probably won't the week after, between Christmas and New Year's. So next week we'll be back, and I'll update you on pheasant hunting, maybe.
Yeah.
You know. Good for you to be along, and God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
800-871-3291. 800-871-3291. Again, that's 800-871-3291.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Every year, 4.5 million young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 visit the ER.
It's every parent's nightmare.
Umergency gives you all the tools you need to quickly and effectively manage your family's emergency. Umergency provides instant access to vital resources, customized to your student's campus and local community, digital consent form, and built-in urgent alert button. Umergency gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Download your Umergency app now.
'Twas just weeks before Christmas and long after dark, all the elves are still busy at Santa's magical